My parents divorced when I was quite small, and they immediately found other spouses who were public school teachers in Palmdale. Well, it was kind of rough because, or good, however you want to look at it, because the way the schools that my parents were at, I had a parent, my mom was at my elementary school, my dad was at my middle school, and my stepmom was at my high school. But I was a good kid, and I did well, you know, always, and so there weren't really many problems that way. I decided right before I got to Harvard that I would focus on government, which is basically what political science is called at Harvard. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of plotted out my path at that point. So I decided I'd go to law school, and I did. I decided that I would be a public defender, and I would go to Alaska. Took 6 months off in between and kind of traveled around the world. And in the course of that, I met my wife in Bulgaria on a train. So I was being recruited to run for state legislature, I was being recruited to run for judge, and my wife and I just thought, you know, this really isn't, we love Alaska, but you give up certain things by being there, and we just never, and I was just like, I really need to get to the community that I'm gonna really put my roots down and try to make a commitment to, and we need to do that now. And I was sort of just talking to somebody about how, you know, I was not sure, I wanted to move somewhere and really plant roots, but I didn't know where that would be. And she was asking me what I was looking for in a community, and when I described it, she's like, you're describing Olympia. And so my wife and I flew to Olympia, and we just loved it. Like, this is it. So we got everything, sold our house, quit our job, looked for a job, and we were landed here in summer of 2007. Then I got a job in a law firm in Olympia, and I do criminal defense and family law. I've just been getting to know the community. In 2010, I asked to be appointed to the Water Conservancy Board so that I could serve Thurston County, and I served out a 3.5-year term. When our county commission had some changes, I really felt like, you know, county commission was a job that I would really be excited to do. Because of its connection to the criminal justice system, which plays to my background, because of the land use and environmental issues that are first and foremost on a county commissioner's plate. We have a housing crisis in Thurston County, and I think of two aspects of the housing crisis. There's a shortage of housing supply that drives up prices, so we have to work on how we are going to incentivize the market and otherwise create the supply that Thurston County needs. But we also have an emergency situation with folks that have borne the brunt of the last 6 years of falling supply and rising prices, and they may be unsheltered, they may be on the street, they may be facing health issues, safety issues. We have 1,678, as I understand, children in our Thurston County school systems that do not have a stable housing situation. So that also has to be addressed. We have 100,000 people projected to move to this county by 2040. We have a county commission that is committed to an anti-regulation philosophy. They are formally out of compliance with the Growth Management Act. They are preparing and planning to do things that are contrary to law and contrary to the Growth Management Act. And this is going to affect our agricultural economy. This is going to create infrastructure costs that the county can't afford. We're already squeezed. We do not need to grow in a way that's going to even further squeeze county resources. And the character of Thurston County. I mean, Thurston County is a beautiful county with a dual character. We have a true urban environment, and we have true rural environment, a delicate balance that I don't think any other county can equal in this state. And we want to preserve that. It's why we love being here. So to do that and also absorb 100,000 people is going to be an incredible challenge, but it's one that I'm looking forward to facing. Justice reform is another big issue, and it ties to our budget concerns. How do we deal with a budget where costs are rising faster than resources are coming in? Well, you look at how you're spending your money. 75% of the general fund, which is the discretionary portion of the county budget, is the law and justice system. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I work with every piece of that system every day. So you have $75 million, no strategic vision over that money. You have a jail with 45% of the folks in it with a mental health diagnosis. You have our sheriff saying, I don't want to run the biggest mental health hospital in Thurston County, but he's acknowledging that that's kind of what we're doing. We don't have adequate mental health treatment resources, so people turn to the justice system or the criminal system as a default. Then, as a result, we criminalize mental health issues. We ruin people's lives down the road because when they needed treatment, what they got was a criminal conviction. So that connects to budget, it connects to justice reform, it connects to our economic development and community health, because we know that downtown Olympia is struggling with these issues and it's affecting business. It's a great time to be doing criminal justice reform because budgets are squeezed all around the country, and I think the sort of hardcore law and justice mentality has broken down. People realize that mentality, that approach, wastes money and doesn't get good results. So jurisdictions around the country are experimenting with new ways of doing things, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We look around and see what's working. I want to put people's trust back in government. I want to have people that are, I want to be the kind of person that people look at and go, I know this guy is fighting for me. I know this guy is trying to find solutions to problems. I know that he's going to carefully manage my resources. He's going to be looking for the solutions that benefit the widest array of people in our community. We will bring the best solutions to Thurston County, and we will not just talk about them, we will implement them. In this particular time, we really need leadership from our local governments. We are not getting good leadership from the federal government. It is critical that our local governments at this juncture step forward and maybe be bolder than they ever have before. I mean, there's a case to be made that local governments are going to have to start doing things that they never did before, because it's the only way to protect what we in Washington and here in Thurston County care about.
Paid for by Tye for Thurston.